Hi, this is Bob Kay from the AMD World Championship. I have with me today Mina and Gordon from Unique Custom Cycles. They've come out with this beautiful entry in the open class, freestyle class called Fly Girl. We're going to talk a little bit with Mina about the styling objectives and what she was trying to accomplish with this long, lean chopper. So Mina, tell me what you were thinking about when you were trying to come together with this bike.
Well, I've been riding bikes for almost 20 years, and most of those years I've had a chopper with me. So chopper was actually the only bike which I could think that we start building. And during all these years riding, I've been looking at other bikes, how they are, and trying to search for my own style. And in this bike, there comes these two styles which I love a lot together, and the other one is Swedish style, really clean line chopper, a little bit more new technique, and then on the other side some old school stuff from Finland, like front end, kickstart, jockey shift, and they all get together in this bike nicely.
Well, I think nicely is a good word. You've really done a nice job here. We also ought to mention that this bike is kind of special because it is the Motorcycle Storehouse pick of excellence, and I think Gordon had a lot to do with the execution. So Gordon, what was involved with, once you understood Mina's vision, what did you have to do to get the tank and the fender and everything fit so tightly? It's unbelievably smooth.
I just have to make it. It's handmade, everything, to make it fit the bike. We started to build the frame, and after that I just put one piece on at a time and make it fit.
With this particular frame, it's very clean, it has that Swedish styling to it. Where do you start? Do you start with the engine and move forward or back, or how do you go about when you're hand making a frame and you got a vision in mind?
It's make a frame from experience. You need to stretch it up and break it out, and yeah, that's how we start. And we make a fork that fits, and we knew what size wheels we wanted from the beginning, so it's experience, I think. We know how to make a frame fit this wheel and this fork.
Gordon certainly has a lot of experience. I've personally known him. He's done some bikes for me in the past, and he really has a good understanding of how the geometry has to end up. So what about the drivetrain here? We have a very classic drivetrain, old style S&S. Tell me a little bit about some of the choices of why you chose this particular engine and some of the components of it.
From the beginning it was supposed to be a shovel head, so I bought an old shovel head. It's 78 shovel head, but the only thing left from it now is the cases. Everything else is changed. It's S&S flywheels and cylinders and STD heads, Gims lifters and S&S oil pump. And yeah, I changed everything but the cases.
Yeah, for me, I think that the engine is the soul of the motorcycle, and also for chopper, the engine has to be beautiful. I couldn't imagine that there could have been sitting in this bike some new engine like Evolution or Twin Cam. It just doesn't fit, and that was where we began. And then when we noticed that the shovel head it's not big enough, or it doesn't actually fit here, then Gordon started to look for another solution, and that's how we came up with this fan head. And actually fan head was what I wanted first, so I finally cut it.
Well, obviously panhead is the essence of traditional styling. Let's talk a little bit about the brakes and wheels and tires. Who wants to take that?
It's Unique Custom Cycle hubs, Acron rims, and the brake in the rear is a PM, and the front brake is PM2 with a ISR rotor. Metzler rear tire, Avon front tire, handmade controls, and yeah.
But one of the unique features that I've really noticed on this bike is just the delicate master cylinder and the way everything is so Just nice and tight, perfectly matched. Talk a little bit about that master cylinder and what it took and where that came from.
For the foot controls?
On the handlebar?
That's Grimeca. It's Spanish. And I think it looks clean enough. So I just put it on like it was. I just polished it. I haven't changed anything on it. It's just the stock hand control.
You know, just another example of experiencing, knowing how to match the different components. Mina, is there anything else about this bike that's real special that went into the design that you know of?
Special for me, what I wanted to have in here.
Yeah, some of the, why you chose some of the different components.
Yeah, well, I don't know, it's hard to say why. I knew that from the beginning that I want to have what is this in English again? Springer. Sorry. And I knew that I want to have that jockey shift because that's how we get much cleaner line here. And it's also pretty cool when you're driving.
Very cool. Very cool. So this is the essence of Chopper as far as I'm concerned. The execution is flawless. Everything is smooth. Something like this obviously doesn't just fall together, and these aren't off-the-shelf products. How long does it take to do a project like this?
It took me almost 2 years. Maybe around 900 hours, I think.
So that's just an example of the dedication that the builders of the AMD World Championship have. And we'd like to thank both of you for taking the time to meet with us today and explain this beautiful chopper. Thank you, Mina. Thank you, Gordon.
Hello, I'm Shelby, and you're watching the AMD World Championship of Custom Bike Building vidcast. We're sponsored in part by Flathead Power by S&S, Motorcycle Storehouse, Arlen Ness.